Hi, I'm Sriram. Uh, Recently, there was a furor over the removal of certain topics in the class 10 science textbooks by NCERT. Now, the topics included the periodic table and evolution, periodic table in chemistry, and evolution in biology. Uh, NCERT clarified that these topics have not been removed or deleted, but have only been pushed up to class 11 and class 12. Now, why was this done? NCERT offered not one but two explanations. One is that the topics were shifted to a more age appropriate level. Now, why did it take NCERT decades to discover the age appropriate level for these two critical topics in science? We don't have answers for this. Now, this age appropriateness is not uniform across boards. Students of ICSE, for example, who take ICSE at the end of class 10, study evolution or periodic table in class 8. So won't this put the CBSE students who follow the NCERT textbooks at a disadvantage? We don't have answers. The second explanation is a little stronger. Second explanation of NCERT is that the removal was done considering the COVID pandemic situation. Now, what is implied here is that precious time was lost for students. So you had to add some content for them to cope with the study material available within the condensed time. Now, there could be some truth here. Several topics had to be dropped from the syllabus. Now, why NCERT decided to drop periodic table and evolution? That's contentious. But there is something here, something that is a plausible explanation. Now, the problem is that the two explanations don't go together. You can have either one of them. It is either a sudden thought on age appropriateness or a realization that the students have lost precious time due to COVID pandemic and hence cannot cope with the burden of content. It can't be both. Let's leave the conflict here. But is there a problem in leaving the topics of periodic table and evolution totally out in class 10? The first problem, which is rather obvious, is that students in class 11 and 12 are not, or all are not going to study sciences. There are non-science streams such as commerce and humanities. So they will be deprived of these two topics, evolution and periodic table. Well, you may ask, will they remain ignorant of periodic table and evolution forever? The answer is unlikely. The textbook is, as we know, the textbook is not the only source of content for anyone now. Even the most underprivileged students in India access content through the internet on their phones. So sooner or later, students will become familiar with these topics, evolution and periodic table, if they want, if they have to appear for entrance tests. Class 10 students can learn from outside textbooks what the periodic table, why it is a work of a genius, because it could even predict what elements are yet to be discovered and what their attributes would be. It's not just a classification mechanism. By moving this to class 11 and 12, we are depriving the students in 11 and 12 who move to commerce or humanities streams of this kind of wonder in science. I want to point out a larger issue with textbooks, including the NCERT textbooks. Most high school students learn science from their textbooks as a bunch of assertions. Now, if you ask a high school student, why do you believe in evolution and not in intelligent design? Why is evolution theory labeled as science and why is intelligent design labeled as pseudoscience? The answer most probably would be because the textbook says so. If you ask why is air not considered one of the 5 elements as ancient people thought them to be, among, for example, air, earth, water, space, and fire. Now, why don't we consider that? And why do we think air is a mixture of gases such as oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, etc.? The response is most likely to be because the textbook says so. Why do you believe that the earth is round when your own experience is that the earth is flat? And why should you believe that the earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees to its axis? Again, same response, because the textbook says so. Now, it is not my contention that these textbook assertions are wrong. The point is that all these conclusions could be arrived at through critical thinking and scientific reasoning, but that's not what our textbooks do. Our textbook simply want students to accept assertions without questioning. This undermines the very essence of scientific temper, not accepting anything without questioning and reasoning. That is the essence of scientific temper. This undermines that. What's the possible way forward? The option is to totally revamp the learning outcomes aimed at schooling. Now, if you move from content-oriented outcomes, that the student should know this or that by class 10 or 12 at school final years, to intellectual abilities that they should have developed and they should possess when they complete schooling, then we see possible way forward. In such a model, if you ask a student, why should I believe what you say? He or she will not say, because the textbook says so. He will be able to tell you why, will be able to give you reasons why he or she believes in certain truth or certain a view about evolution or about anything else. Now, if we make the move of moving towards intellectual abilities and from content, science textbooks could deal with a lot less content, but would encourage the student to construct their own knowledge through thinking and through experiments. Now, once the students develop sufficient strength in critical thinking and intellectual abilities, they won't just blindly believe what the textbooks say, or for the matter what the teacher says or what anybody says. They will subject statements to rigorous reasoning process and accept only rationally justified conclusions. They will know how to sift any content thrown at them and take only what appeals to reason. There won't be any room for blind beliefs. Our students deserve such a model. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.